Hey everyone, in today's video I'll be teaching you how to effectively play the new agent Vyse. This guide will cover how to utilize each of Vyse's abilities on both offense and defense. So without further ado, let's get started. First, let's start with Razorvine, or as we call it, the molly. When you throw it, it has the same range as Gecko Mosh Pit. This molly only damages enemies while they are moving. So if they stand still or AD strafe, it won't deal any damage. They must be moving to take damage, and they will also be slowed down. The molly lasts for 10 seconds and you have 2 of them for just 150 credits. It has 40 HP, meaning it can be destroyed with just 1 bullet. However, it's visible from 4 meters away and even further if cast directly in their line of sight. It's best to use before the barrier drops. Here are all the stats as you can see. Now let's talk about how to use Razorvine on defense. The main goal is to stop or delay the enemy execute. We should look to place it near the side choke point, but not too close, as they could spot and destroy it. Remember the 4 meter detection range and position it where it won't be easily destroyed. Ideally when they are already in sight. With its large range, this should be an issue. Since it only deals damage when the enemies are moving, combine Razorvine with other abilities like Killjoy Nanoswarm is great. This forces enemy to move, and when they do, they will take damage and get slowed. In my opinion, that's the perfect way to use it. On attack, the best way to use Razorvine is similar how to use it on defense. We want to throw it at choke point from CT to prevent defenders from flooding the site and disturb our execute. For example, after we execute, we can throw it immediately after our smoke to delay their push. While it can also be used to clear space during execute, enemies can stand still to avoid damage. So unless we pair it with other damage and utility, we still need to clear these corners ourselves. Using 2 mollies to clear a single corner would be a waste. So best use for it on attack is to prevent a flood and assist in holding the site during the post plant. We can place it on the spike, but as mentioned, it won't stop enemies from defusing. Instead, use it to keep them away from the spike, buying valuable time for your team, as you have 20 seconds of coverage. Side notes, if enemies move through it, you will hear a sound, giving you valuable information. That's how to maximize its value on attack. The second ability is Shear, which is essentially a wall. It only activates when an enemy passes through it, isolating them from their team for a one-on-one fight. It lasts for about 8 seconds, has the same height as Sage Wall and the length of 12 meters. Enemies cannot shoot, pass through or see through it. It shares the same 4 meter detection range as Razorvine. Here are the rest of the stats. On defense, we want to use Shear at the choke point to isolate duelists right after they push through. However, if placed too close, enemies could bait it with a jump pick and then execute after 8 seconds. The solution is similar to Razorvine. Place it deeper in the site, something like this will be ideal. This is the first method. We can place it also on site and use it during fights, much like a combat smoke on site. For example, on Sea Haven, placing it at the choke point or deeper allows for easier flooding and isolating other players. There are a lot of effective wall placement that can cover site entrance and they are not easily baited, as shown here. On attack, using Shear can be tricky because Vyse is a sentinel and many players may want to use it for holding flank. However, this isn't the most effective use. Shear has significant value on site and using it only for flanks would be a waste. If Vyse is your only sentinel, you can use it for flanks, but be aware that not all maps offer good trap placement. So how do we use it effectively? Similar to defense, we want to use it to delay enemies retake as long as possible. For example, imagine if we wall off CT, buying us 8 seconds and then use 2 mollies on the spike for another 20 seconds. That's significant amount of time, giving us strong chance to win the round. What's great about Vyse is her flexibility. You can use Shear in many different ways, including for flanks, as it has no range limit and provides info if someone passes through it. It can also be used for post-plant scenarios. I've seen some videos on Twitter where Shear is used close to the spike to prevent defusing. It's not always practical, but it can be a fun strategy if it works. Next, we have Arc Rose, Vyse signature ability. This is a rose that you can place on the wall to flash enemies. You can use it on a wall similar to Cyber's camera, and it has a similar range. Like breach flash, it can be used behind wall, and any wall you can breach flash from, you can with Arc Rose. The flash provides info like Sky Flash. Notice the difference between the sound when it flashes someone and when it doesn't. They are both an audio cue and a voice line. You can reuse it every 20 seconds if not destroyed. If the enemy destroy it, there is 45-second cooldown, and here are all the stats. On defense, we mainly want to use Arcros in combination with Shear and Razorvine. When the wall is triggered, we activate the molly, flash, and then peek. Just make sure to place it before the round started to prevent it from being destroyed. It can be also used proactively by taking space early and placing it in aggressive position to gather info, then recalling it and use it on site. However, this is risky. It can get destroyed and we can use it for 45 seconds. Arcros is excellent for retakes, where we can place it early in the round and then use it when starting our retake after the enemy plants. For most situations, we want to use it pre-round, so planning and deciding early on what to do is crucial. If we use it reactively after the enemy has taken the space, it will likely be destroyed each time. This put us in a dilemma. Do we use it for info and spam it every 20 seconds, sacrificing the ability to use it for holding, or do we use it in our setup to hold and lose the info every 20 seconds? As I mentioned earlier, Vyse is very flexible. The solution to this dilemma is simple. If we want to hold site A for example, we use flash on site and play proactively on B and funnel them into our A setup. If we want to retake A, Vyse can play aggressively with flash on B, leaving the rest of utility on A to support the retake. On attack, it's a bit tricky the way we want to use Arcros, because while we want to use it for execute, the enemy can easily destroy it. We need to come up with high unpredictable placement to reduce the risk of it being destroyed. It works well during execute and even better in post-plant situation, where like the rest of her utility, it can stall and hold off a retake. Knowing that it provides info makes it a great tool for defaulting. We can use it in mid to get early info, and even if it's destroyed, we can get it back for the execute. Overall, the flash is versatile and fits well with Vyse flexible utility kit. Vyse ultimate Steel Garden has an area of effect. When activated, any enemy caught in the radius can't use their primary weapon for 8 seconds, although they can use a pistol or utility. It takes 3 seconds to activate after pressing the button and require 8 orbs to recharge. On defense, Steel Garden can be used in various ways, from holding sites to delay pushing and playing retakes. Its effectiveness largely depends on its range. On some sites, it's better to use it on sites, while on others, it's okay to use it for a retake. It's particularly effective against a full by enemy team. We wouldn't want to use it against an eco of course, but it's also effective against semi or half buys when the enemy has stingers, marshal or judges. On attack, we can use it similarly to Killjoy ultimate, as we can even use the same spots. It's also great for post-plant scenarios, just make sure it catches enemies. And time your entry so their weapons are disabled when you engage. Since it has 3 seconds to activate, the enemy can evade it during this time, and if you peek too early, you risk getting killed before their primary weapons are disabled. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, Vyse playstyle is quite different from Cypher and Killjoy, more similar to Deadlock and Sage, but arguably better. In the current meta, she may replace initiators like Breach or KO and can be played as solo sentinel on maps where you don't necessarily need a sentinel. She won't replace Cypher or Killjoy, but can make a great combo with Killjoy. So that's my guide and my opinion on how to play Vyse. Let me know what you think in the comments, and until next time, peace out.